Are
Look at
you
all your beautiful faces.
how you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Grand.
Good.
We've
Friend.
been talking about your book, and we've already got our very first question because
Wait,
it was.
wait, 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 wait. We
Oh,
have
right. Sorry.
something very important to do first.
Okay.
First, Alaina, official welcome to the Sapphic World Book Club.
Thank you.
Jess is like, let's ask the questions.
I'm just
We'll get
excited.
to we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Just keep them in mind. Because Alaina, you come bearing gifts.
I do. I'm gonna give away a free signed book to someone who attended. So you can pick
Oh,
any one of my books. So if you already have this one, no worries, or you can pick the next one that comes out if you want to wait that long. It's up to you.
that's good. Well, of course, we have a little game to play. We're gonna ask you to look up Jamie, our co-host, in the chat, and put in a number between 0 and 40. And we have picked a number. I'm not going to tell you, of course, which one, but the one that's closest to that number at the end of this chat will win that copy. Everyone clear on that? So 0 to 40, put it in the DM in the chat to Jamie, and at the end of the Q&A, we will see who is closest to our magic number. Okay, okay. Um, Alaina, we've been talking about the book Flowers and Gemstones. And the last question we were talking about was, of course, Vanessa's mom. And who
I thought
would
she might come
play?
up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's just get the whole heavy stuff out of the way.
Okay.
Who's gonna play her in the movie?
Oh, I don't know. Who's a good villain?
We've already ruled out Meryl Streep and Kate Blanchett.
Oh, well, I was trying to think of Meryl Streep's name, so well, there goes that.
Well, we decided that she makes
Don't you
every
dare.
villain
Don't you
too
dare.
sweet.
Oh, yeah, boy, I don't know. I probably want an actress I didn't like too well to do that. So I'd have to think on that. I'm not sure.
Well, you've got a half an hour, so maybe at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
What about Vanessa and Hannah? Maybe that'll be easier.
Oh, who do I want to play them?
Yeah, if you were to have a film or a TV show for them, for the
Oh
book,
boy, I
who
think
would be
so
your
terribly
lead?
on my feet. Well, I mean, I'd always have to pick Kate Blanchett to play something, and she's right in that kind of, age range. So let's put her in for one. And who else? Another blonde.
They can always wear
I
a
like,
wig.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Hannah Waddingham. Um,
Ooh.
I'm not sure either one of them is innocent enough to play Vanessa, though. So, I mean, that
Hmm.
that might have to be tweaked a little bit. But they're actresses, right? They can do anything.
If they're good, then they should. It's true. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Um, you have written a few books already now.
Mhm.
What is your process? How do you start? What comes first? The characters, the story?
The characters always come first. I started out in fanfic, so I kind of had a little bit of an unusual start, although I know a lot of authors do start that way. So, once I decided to write characters of my own, then it was a little bit more, of finding my process. And I do find that I enjoy writing books from a fresh start rather than doing a rewrite. Whole heck of a lot better. Rewriting something, that like existed in the fanfic realm and making it into something that can be published is really difficult for me. And I find I'm almost better off just setting aside the old version and, I kind of know what's going on in my head. That's a lot easier to just sit down and write than trying to fix sentence by sentence. That's excruciating to me. Um, I think about my stories a lot before I ever start writing, months and months. I'm a plotter, so by the time I actually touch a keyboard, I pretty much know how it's going to go. I do a lot of, when as I'm falling asleep thinking about it and, kind of writing scenes in my head before I ever, put them on paper. Um, yeah, and then once I do start writing, it tends to go quickly for me, quick-ish. I get into it and don't really like have a sense of time and sort of forget to stop. And so, 12, 16-hour days are sort of the norm, until I get it done. And then I'll take a bit of a break. But yeah, it's intense. But like I said, I have the structure and I know where it's going. So, it's just flowing and it's easier to just go with the flow.
I'm seeing like a whole wall with post-its and stuff like that and lines and is it something like that?
I have done that before, but I do it, digitally mostly.
Digitally. Okay, so not really the keyboard. Like you said, I only touch the keyboard when it's full
Oh,
form.
no, no, I'm sorry, I lied. I do, take notes.
Aren't you afraid of like losing the story if you fall asleep and going like, oh, the scene will go like this and that? And when I have that and I
I
wake up in the morning, I'm like, I had such a great idea.
Scenes, no, but like lines, I will forget. So, I have just a little app on my phone that I have to turn over and put something in if it's, worth saving.
If it's brilliant.
Right. Yeah. There's not too many of those, so it's not a big problem.
Well, is there one line from this book that you were like, oh, that's a good one? That was like
Hmm.
a midnight epiphany.
I don't know if it was a Midnight Epiphany, but I did like the Claire Ashton one, and I like that mostly because, it was a compliment to her because I've always enjoyed that in her books, and I thought it was just kind of a little nod to her, and I thought that a lot of people in our community would get it. So,
I, I
uh,
think a lot of people do. It's true.
yeah.
Her characters do have exceptional boobs.
Right, right.
True.
I've got a question here from Alicia. Can I read
Okay,
it?
sure.
What's your favorite flower and or gemstone?
I thought this question might come up. So I've always liked lilies, and I just can't have them anymore, though. Like tiger lilies, I've just always thought they're really pretty, and I'm a painter, and I've painted them before. But now that I have cats, they're really toxic to cats, so I can't have them in the
Oh.
house anymore. So that's a little sad, but they're still beautiful to look at when I do come across them. And gemstones. I mean, I like a good emerald. I think green's my favorite color, so um, yeah, I'd have to go with emerald.
That's
No
great.
real reason other than that.
I have a question for Maria. We were talking in the book club part about Bren and her being um, an evil genius or being the victim in it all. Um,
Oh,
and Maria
hadn't thought
says,
of that.
was she a victim and not a villain? And if Georgina was stringing her on all the time?
I didn't write it that way. I mean, I guess it's open to your interpretation. I did really want them to have a sort of genuine connection. And I did want to represent, people who do live a poly lifestyle in a way that is true to some extent about having, many have a primary partner. Uh, I don't know. I didn't. Hmm. Brenna's a victim, huh? Yeah, no, I think she's probably more villain. I'm not sure how much of it was her thinking she was backed into a corner, or being pushed to, go out and date again by um, oh my gosh, what's her Georgina. But
But I mean, she made the decision to not tell her other partners about.
right, right. So, that was intentional for sure. Yeah, like I said, I'd lean more towards villain.
Okay. Well, Maria, let me know in the chat if you agree when hearing this explanation. Um,
I've got one from Vita or
yeah,
Vita.
go.
I apologize in advance if I butcher your name. So I've got one here. Your books are so different from each other and also wonderful. Where does the inspiration come for all slash any of them?
Like I said, two of them came from fanfic, so they were based on the Carol fanfic. Um, so that, I mean, I guess the inspiration came from that, although they don't really, they're tangentially related, I would say, to fanfic. I had a lot of readers say, it's not very much like the movie, which was sort of my intent, but the ideas, I don't know. I don't know where they come from. I used to be a chef. I kind of wanted to write about a kitchen. That off the menu came from there. This book, I just really wanted, I wanted a really strong opening, and I just kept like playing around with things in my head, and trying to come up with what could I do that's unexpected, that's maybe a little bit of um, something that's unique to a romance, and how could I start it out that just, really grabbed a reader and kept them reading. And so I came up with the, meeting at a funeral bit. But yeah, I hope my books are all different. I mean, if I ever do start writing books and they all start sounding the same, somebody pull me aside and, you know, knock me right. Yeah.
Is there a particular genre you'd like to explore that you haven't covered yet?
If I did, it wouldn't be too far away from what I'm writing. I don't really want a genre hop, at least this early in my career. So if I did, it would be something, towards a romantic blend. Fire, Water, and Rock had a lot more intrigue in it initially. That, when I signed with Bold Strokes, they wanted to keep it just a pure romance for the most part. So all of that got cut, or most of that got cut. So, I wouldn't mind bringing a little intrigue in, trying that.
Maria says in the chat that she wants redemption for Bren. And she's saying she thinks cheating and hiding
Okay,
things is not great, but I think she felt so bad the whole time.
a Bren fan. Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
Hmm. Did you think about writing like a little bit more about her point of view, like in a
Bren's point
prologue
of
or
view?
something? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't bring another point of view in a romance, other than the two main characters. It just doesn't really work for me. I guess I could have brought in more of her story in another way, but that really wasn't what was important in this. So
Maria's really pushing it. She says novella? Question mark.
I don't know. I can't say I really hmm. I don't know that I'm that sympathetic towards Bren, so I'm not sure that I would write it well, to be honest.
Well, Maria, here
Up
you
with
go. A
Maria,
Yeah.
fanfic.
okay.
Yeah, let's go. So why? I mean, a lot of Sapphic books have characters, or well, maybe somewhere between 20 and 30 years, and experiencing things for the first time and heartbreak for the first time. Blah blah blah. Why did you choose? Do you choose to write characters that are, as they say, older, which I hate, but
Well, a lot easier. I tried to write, younger characters. I think in Fire, Water, and Rock, I had one that was 25 or 26. And at this point, I have to do research. I'm too far away to just wing that. So it takes a lot more. And I also don't think that characters in their 40s or 50s really get the amount of page time they should. And honestly, after writing this, like they were so much fun to write, and they have such life experience and backstories and history. And, you can do so many more things with it. And, I just really enjoyed that. Like you said, they're not, doing things for the first time for the most part. So Um, and I didn't have anybody coming out later in life, so there wasn't that. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed writing older characters.
Is that like a promise for the next book?
Well, my next book has one in her 30s and one in her 40s. But after that, I don't know, maybe, yeah.
Hmm. Okay, on the topic of the next book, what is next for you? I mean,
Well, the manuscript is due on the 1st, so I've been writing frantically. But I have my first Ice Queen romance coming out is called Brooke Takes Queen, and it's set in Napa Valley. And yeah, it's almost done, so
I'm hearing
working
wine.
hard on it. I'm sorry?
Wine and food?
Yes, but not as much as I've gone into in the past. I don't want to pigeonhole myself too much into that, but of course it's mentioned. Yeah, can't help it.
And so that the manuscript is due May 1st, but then when are we gonna read it?
It won't be out until January. These things takes time, so unfortunately, I know it'll be a year between well, almost a year between my releases, but
Oh, that's too sad. We have another project for you though from the book club.
okay.
Because we really want to read Zara's story and Jen.
Well, when I was saying like maybe the next one after that, that's what I had in mind because I did write that and kind of leave it open-ended. So I had the potential to go back to that if I wanted to. And I really enjoyed writing Zara. So yeah, that may come about.
So that's 2 years.
Well, no, I mean it could be faster, but I did 3 books in 13 months and I kind of wore myself out. So I've slowed it down a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Okay, okay, okay. You deserve a little break. Okay, okay. We were talking about the audiobook. Is there going to be an
Mm.
audiobook for this one?
I don't know. That's up to my publisher, so I don't have a say in that. I hope so. I would love to see it made into an audiobook.
Who would narrate it? Who would you want? What's your
Oh, who
wish
would I
list?
want? What's that?
What's your wish list? Who's like,
Oh, I know Bold Strokes has, a group that they use. I'd probably be happy with any of them. I've listened to, I think most of them. So yeah, any of them would be fine with me.
so you don't know if there and where and who and you don't
I
know.
do not. No,
Do you
sorry.
get a say in it? Just out of curiosity.
I've heard once your book is, chosen to be an audiobook, then I think you are asked for voice notes and maybe like told, we have this narrator in mind, take a listen and see what you think. I think that's how it goes, but I'm not sure. Not there yet.
Well, we're gonna wait with bated breath because we
Thanks. Yeah, I would love to listen. I would love to listen to this be made into an audiobook or, see what it sounded like when it came out. Yeah.
oh, for sure. I've got a question here. The mum, Vanessa's mother, is just straight up horrible. Why did you feel the need to do that? And has anyone inspired you to make her so vile?
Well, I was brainstorming at the beginning of this book and I initially turned in a different proposal and it had some issues. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board and I was trying to come up with a different sort of struggle, for Vanessa. And I don't remember how, I decided upon that. But yeah, I mean, I based her on someone real. And I think we all probably have come across somebody like that in our lives. And unfortunately, there's people out there who talk and act like that. And I just toned it down a bit for the book.
You toned it down?
Toned it down a bit for the book, yeah.
What was it originally?
worse.
Bloody hell.
Sure. Well, we have another petition for you, and that is like taking this character and maybe even other evil characters from other books and make it into like a little what we want to happen to them, like
Oh,
throw them off a cliff kind of.
right.
So if one like a horror author would petition you to borrow this character, would you agree with it?
Oh yeah, they can have at her because I don't want to write her again. So she's
Good.
all
There you
theirs.
go, Donna.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's good. Well, I personally loved Hannah and Vanessa, and I thought Vanessa was so sweet and almost like innocent but very strong, uh, having lived through her mom, kind of.
Hmm.
So what is next for them in your head? I mean, the book ends when they have like 1 year, I think,
Yeah, I can't remember
and
if
a
it's one or
proposal.
two. Somebody help me out, but
A
yeah, they
year and a proposal.
and a proposal. So I mean, I see them married and maybe maybe helping each other out with their jobs. Maybe, Vanessa can, send some ring buyers Hannah's way and Hannah can send some wedding flower arrangement jobs Vanessa's way and yeah.
Stuff like that. Like happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you reckon they'll have any kids or just fair
I
baby?
don't think so. Probably, at that age, but I mean, I don't want more kids at this age, so just speaking
Oh
from
no, I'm
experience.
done.
God,
I'm done. Okay. Um,
Speaking of the flower and jewelry world, what research did you do into it? Like the meaning
all of
of
it.
flowers or
I don't
like,
know anything about that. I can't garden to save my life. I mean, if I can manage to grow a few, herbs in my arrow garden each year, that's like miraculous. So, yeah, I had to research all of it. I don't know flowers. I mean, I can't like look at them and I knew the bleeding hearts one. I remember that from my childhood, from them growing, where I grew up, but yeah, and jewelry, I don't know a ton about that either. And I didn't really put anything too specific jewelry wise, I don't think in there, but yeah, I just research. I just continually research as I'm writing. I
but
probably pop over to
is that like a subject that you find interesting? Or I mean, why would you do that to yourself if you have no
oh, well, because I only know of so many things that I have to branch out, it can't all be cooking or painting or whatever. So yeah,
I mean,
I
food
just
is always good.
right, right. Yeah.
I
I just
have a,
don't want my readers to get
oh,
bored.
sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
actually have a comment here. It's not necessary, it's not a question, but Emma C said maybe they'd take in a struggling kid from the gardening program.
Oh,
So
there you go. Yeah, that would be nice. They're already teens, so yeah, I like that idea.
That would be cute. Oh, okay.
Do you know who my favorite character write in the book was? I think was
who
Noah. I don't know. I just like that little dude so much. He
was
was
Noah the one that
I'm
said they were
like,
the same age as their grandma?
did I say the he's Georgina's son. I think I said the right name.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
I was like,
already like,
who's that again?
my
Yeah,
head's in the next book. I
he
don't
was
know. I like that little guy.
but he had like, I don't know, 5 lines.
Yeah, he wasn't in there much, but I just thought, that age when they're sort of, I think he was holding back tears, he's kind of on the cusp of manhood, but, wanted to cry but didn't want to cry and kind of had all these feelings that, he didn't really know how to deal with. I just found him sweet.
well,
Sure.
if he was your favorite, what was the hardest part of writing this particular book?
Oh, probably the mother, honestly. I had to ask a lot of people, like, is it too much? And Is she believable? And are people going to be triggered? And I don't want to have a bunch of, content wording slapped on the book for her and that kind of thing. So that was probably the most difficult part.
That's why you tone it down.
Mm, mm. No, I toned her down from the beginning. I wanted to know if I needed to tone her down more.
Oh, God. Oh,
I I
uh,
have a question before we check with time from Jodelle. Where did the pen go? Because you mentioned that Vanessa gave Bren a pen for a wedding
Mhm.
engagement gift, and then it disappeared. What
Well,
what what happened?
Hannah shoves it out of sight, I think, with her toe under the couch. And in my head, she just put it with the rest of Bren's belongings and whatever she did with those. I think they ended up in a storage unit until the court did their thing. I believe Vanessa said she didn't want it back.
yeah. And then Hannah just shoved it under the couch or
Yeah.
somewhere. That was cute. Um, you mentioned the time.
Yeah.
Are you okay with like two more questions?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Um, if you were stranded on a desert island, which one of your characters from this book or the others would you want with you?
And why?
Oh, there's the hard part. You guys and all your questions here. I'd probably pick Vanessa. I don't know, something about her just resonated with me. I think she's just sensitive. I think she'd be kind of low key. But like you said, she's strong, so
She'd know how to grow vegetables.
she'd know how to grow vegetables. That's right. How to plant a garden. Yeah. Desert island. I'm not sure how that works on sand, but I'll take it.
Well, you never know.
Right?
If
Um,
anyone could do it, it would be Vanessa.
I
That's
think so
right.
too. I think that would be sweet and fun. She has a adventurous side. Yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
that. Um, last one, Jess?
Yeah, yeah.
No?
This was from the form. What is the most fulfilling aspect of being an author?
Doing things like this and seeing all these wonderful people show up and just hearing that somebody read your book and enjoyed it and just meeting all these wonderful people. I mean, I've met so many of the people on my screen here at GCLS or at Provincetown, and I think, the community and just knowing that if you made one person happy by writing your book, that's worth it to me.
That's the best ending, I think.
So sweet.
So sweet. Okay, let's get back to the gifts. We've asked you to pick a number between 0 and 40. And I think Jamie just chatted to me. Let's see. That we picked a number. It is 31 because this is the 31st episode of the Sapphic World Book Club. Woohoo! Um,
Great.
I think that Jodelle was closest to that with
Congrats, Del.
27.
Yeah.
Congrats, Jodelle! Yay! We will make sure that you get in contact with each other and you can pick one of Elena's books. Is there anything else you want to add to this that we forgot to ask about the book or your writing or whatever is going to happen next or where we can find you?
You can find me on just about every social media platform except TikTok. I'm not really active there. Um,
It's for the younger generation.
thanks, Cass. But no, just thank you for inviting me on, and thank you to all of you who gave up part of your Saturday to come talk about this book. I really appreciate it, and it's lovely to see so many of your names and faces.
Our next book club is on the 17th of May and it's with Fiona Z. So keep your eyes peeled on our socials and we will hopefully see you there.
Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.